Well, I'd be curious, Grant. I mean, obviously, when you arrived at Stanford, you were already a competent golfer, maybe a very good golfer already. How did golf start for you? And
How did golf
start for you?
Well,
when did you start playing?
I took
was your
it
dad
up.
Was your dad an active golfer?
He became a golfer. He was a good athlete in college at Dartmouth. He was stationed in Montevideo, Uruguay, and there were none of the American sports, and so no football, baseball, or basketball, and we lived across the street from a golf course, so I learned there. And for a couple of years we were down there, played golf every day as a kid. So I was then, 11, 12 years old.
Self-taught, or was there?
No, there was a wonderful pro. As a matter of fact, I was in Mexico teaching the rules of golf, as a matter of fact, and came across a fellow from Uruguay and asked him about the name of my pro. His shortcut was espinaca, spinach, which is bizarre, and I don't know why it was, how he got that name, but in any event, fellow answered, he's still alive and he's down there and he's in his close to 90 and he's very, very famous in Uruguay. So he was my teacher.
And did you go to high school in?
No, I went to high school at Pali, and as a matter of fact, was a regular caddy for the golf teams. That's why I have some feeling for it going back earlier than college, because I lived right here on the campus and caddied for the golf team fellows. I was kind of a general workman around here on the golf course.
So, as I recall, your dad became dean of the law school in '46, right after
46,
the war.
that's right. Yep.
And you were how old in '46?
I would have been 14.
14. So you played. Was there a golf team at Pali?
That's right. There was a fellow who later was a golfer here, Dick McAleer. Dick McAleer and I were on the golf team.
Just passed away.
That's right. Just passed away. He was in the Golf Hall of Fame. Wonderful fellow. And, he and I were on the golf team, and his father had a station wagon, and so we played here and Crystal Springs, San Mateo Muni. There are a lot more golf courses around here now than there were then.
It's interesting that there was high school golf in those days.
Absolutely. And it was the league that then extended from Daly City to San Jose. And we played them all in head-to-head matches.
There weren't. Were there state? Was there a hierarchy of tournaments?
No, there was no hierarchy.
Just
That was
kind of
it.
a regional.
That's right. Yep.
So you came to Stanford in
Class of 54, so I came in 50.
1950. The golf coach then was. The golf coach here was
Bud Finger. Was Bud Finger. Yeah.
Bud Finger.
Yeah. When I was in high school, the golf coach was Eddie Twiggs, who had been a golf coach for many years here. And he had an office down there, and after the war, can't remember when he stepped down and when Bud came forward, but it must have been around 1950.
Yeah, I think there's a sign out, isn't there, by the 10th tee and that fountain that says Bud Finger 1950 to 19 something something.
Could be. I know there's a reference to Bob Stevens.
There is a Bob Stevens reference.
Oh, Bob
Yeah.
Stevens, that's
48
right.
to 76 is what I have.
That's
He
about-
became coach at 48, and then Twiggs was coach from 32 to 47.
Okay. Yeah. So he was basically the first golf coach with a remarkable record, as you know.
Yeah, so you were on the golf team all 4 years?
Yes. I can't remember whether freshmen played on the varsity. I think we played on the freshman team. It's gone back and forth over the years.
I think
We
you're
played
right.
always with the varsity. I mean, there was no distinction as far as play, practice, and so forth. But I believe
That's probably right. I know we're about the same age, a couple years older than you are. And in the Midwest, at least, intercollegiate sports, there was always a freshman team.
Uh-huh.
The varsity never started.
it's
until
gone
you
back
were a
and forth
sophomore.
over the years.
Yeah, I know it has.
You know,
So who were your who were your fellow team members?
Well, I was thinking about that. The
There's that
fellows
H.
who, when we were good, the guts of the team was a fellow named Fred Brown and Warren Daly, and they were terrific. Fred Brown used to tackle Ken Venturi in our home and home matches against San Jose State. Warren Daly from Wisconsin was a very, very long hitter. Art Schroeder, who's still around here and who works part-time at the golf course, was on that team. Stu Ledbetter and Bob Blackburn. The reason I'm good with the names right now is we had a reunion, 50th reunion of our NCAA win, and so that's easy. There were, in the earlier years, there was Dick McAleer, Keith Beekman, who used to be a member here at Stanford, Dick Taylor from Arizona, Paul Palmquist, and I need to go back to the books to get the names of some of the others. Phil Getchell was after us.
Stuart Rhodes. Stuart Rhodes. Is that a name that rings a bell?
It doesn't.
Phil is the fellow who's a friend of Bob Gregg's, right?
Yes.
Bob often
went into the church, into the cloth, and spent a good portion of his life in Brazil.
These are in the Stanford.
Maybe as a missionary, maybe
manuals.
you wouldn't describe him as that. Maybe he was more sophisticated duty.
So I think probably you fellows have the specific records of when the titles were won and so on of these.
Well, Grant played on the 1953 national championship team, so it'd be great to hear about that year and about the experience of winning.
The experiences of winning, well, we were pretty good vis-a-vis the rest of the Pac-10. I think we won every single championship and also the individual titles. McAleer, Art Schroeder won. Can't remember the third year, but it was not very competitive as far as the Stanford golf team was concerned those years, with all due modesty.
You were too good. Too much depth.
So
They were weak.
when we talk about a golf coach, I'm sure each one has his own style. But how did Bud Finger coach? How do you coach in golf? It's not a team sport. It's not like basketball or football. Or maybe
Well, I think
did he coach?
relationship differs one player to another. When Bud first became coach and I entered Stanford, I went and explained to him that I'd been taught by Art Bell at California Golf Club, and that I really wanted to stick with Art Bell in terms of the golf swing. And Bud said okay, and so our relationship wasn't so much about golf swing, except he was very good with the short game and was terrifically helpful with putting, chipping, and all of the strategies associated with that. And so we were kind of friends, but it wasn't I have the sense that Eddie Twiggs, for the great teams that preceded, was very much involved in the golf swing and the course management and the mental aspects of the game. So you'd have to speak with others about what impact Bud Finger may have had on them, because it wasn't very great with me, because we established this relationship when I was a freshman. And so it was understood, and I abided by everything he did. We used to kid him a bit because he was an easy mark for naughty undergraduates to kid him a bit. We called him Charles Bud, and rather than Mr. Finger. Anyway.